Yeah, look, it is a tough time for tenants and landlords, not just in residential, but also commercial. I think retail shopping centres are probably the most interesting one at the moment. We are continuing to see battles between tenants and landlords about rent payments. We are also seeing people shop online more. So we've not only got these problems at a business-to-business level, but people are also shopping online more, which is creating problems with the amount of spending that's taking place.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk with shop owners that online is good. It's going to be the way forward, but also we do need the bricks and mortar way of shopping. But yes, as we've mentioned, the recession, the first biggest in nearly 3 decades. Places like Melbourne, how are we seeing them in terms of getting back to normal after the second wave? I mean, it's just been full on in terms of retail there.
Yeah, look, Melbourne has been really tough. I mean, obviously in lockdown, people aren't spending much money. We're not seeing people being able to transact properties. I mean, that's been one of the issues around people wanting to buy properties or rent properties. We're certainly not seeing people being able to do that at this stage. I think for Melbourne, though, we are looking at a big announcement tomorrow night. So we will see Daniel Andrews announce what the next stage of restrictions are. And if we go by what's happened in other cities that have seen such extreme lockdowns, if you have a look at places like London and New York and also Auckland, they did have similar lockdowns, and we did see a very strong bounce back in activity following the end of the lockdown. So, fingers crossed that business confidence and consumer confidence has been maintained over this time period, and people get back out there and shopping, working, and creating a little bit more normality than what we've seen over the past month.
Yeah, because a lot of companies have obviously taken a huge hit. However, there are some companies thriving, places like Amazon. Why are they doing so well, Nerida?
Yeah, look, Amazon's very interesting. Jeff Bezos is set to become the world's first trillionaire in a few years. So it is because obviously people are shopping online a lot more. What is interesting about Amazon, though, is they are making a really hard push into physical retailing and also office space. So, it's interesting as everyone else moves online and concentrates on the tech side of businesses. We are seeing Amazon create new supermarkets. They've already bought Whole Foods a few years ago. They've also developed a concept called Amazon Go, which was a convenience supermarket. But they've now opened their first Amazon Fresh store, which is similar to a Coles or a Woolworths, but creating more of a digital experience in store. The other interesting move by Amazon is that they are taking on a lot more physical office space. So again, more people are working from home in Australia. We are seeing this big shift, for now at least, away from office. But if you go look at what Amazon is doing, which is an online company, they are taking on thousands and thousands of square metres of office space in anticipation of people returning to work normally. So some really interesting moves. Locally closer to home, we did see Amazon partner up with Myer on Friday for people to be able to pick up Amazon products from Myer stores. So, there's some really interesting moves by Amazon at the moment that are happening not just overseas but also in Australia.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Getting back to property, how hard is it to sell property at the moment, not just Melbourne?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean, we did see a really quick recovery in buyer activity on realestate.com.au following the third stimulus package in early April. We did then see a bounce back in listing volumes. The big issue at the moment is Melbourne. We aren't seeing many properties transact. It's really hard to sell a property in Melbourne. People are restricted in the way that they buy and sell, but also there's geographic restrictions. People aren't allowed to go beyond a 5k radius of their home. So pretty impossible to sell a home or not impossible, but very difficult to sell a home in that environment. One of the big things that is surprising at the moment is how much house prices are being supported. And, at this stage in a recession that is as bad as it is, and with unemployment rising as fast as it is, we would, generally would have expected quite a catastrophic fall in pricing. But primarily the reason is that the banking sector at this stage is really supporting the mortgage holders. We're not seeing pretty much any mortgagee sales on realestate.com.au at this stage. So at this stage, as long as the banks continue to support people through this, it is likely that prices will remain far more stable than if they withdraw their support.
What about for first home buyers? What are we seeing there?
Yeah, first-time buyers continue to be really active. It is surprising, given obviously the pandemic and recession and rising unemployment, but a lot of it has to do with the enormous levels of stimulus that they're being provided with. So the really big one that made a big difference was the federal government's 5% deposit scheme. It was introduced in January. And you know, the federal government did release a report this week around who's been taking it and the types of properties that they're buying. But you know, we can see from inquiry levels from first home buyers that there has been an incredible uplift in the level of activity that's taking place. If you have a look at somewhere like Perth, for example, you know, the WA economy is doing quite well at the moment, and we are seeing these enormous levels of activity. So first home buyers are back and active. Comparably, investor activity is still very, very low, and you know, we're not really seeing much activity from them at all.